My name is Charles Molozi Olweny. I work with Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa as an advocacy and campaigns coordinator based in Kampala office. My food is African is a very powerful continental, could call it a Pan-African movement. It's calling for African citizens to stand up and be counted on their actions to defend and protect what we call our food system. For long, our food system has been run by people completely have no idea. From Washington, from Beijing, from all over the world, when complete they have no idea what it means to be an African food, to call something African food. Our food is about our identity. Our food is about our culture. Our food is about our society. Our food is about who we are. So my food is African is calling about individual, but most important, the collective movement of African citizens to push back on the wrong narratives and the societal food system which has been pushed on us by the West when complete they have no idea what our food means to us. So cannot allow the industrialists, through the agra and the companies to come and destroy what we have. I come from Acholi. We have more than 150 food system, very diverse, very unique, and with the chemical use of food and all these things and their effects on our life and on our health, on our environment, we say that we need a movement, a Pan-African movement, which is dubbed My Food is African. And we are certain if we can push back, we protect, promote, and create the sovereignty that we want to have in our food system, then we can call ourselves African. First, I say it is a Pan-African movement. Being a Pan-African movement means that African people are able to recognize that in the last 20 years, the food system are being pushed to us not working. Seeing the structural adjustment program by the World Bank and the companies, more Africans become more poor. We have seen more increased problem of biodiversity. We have seen increased land grab. We have seen increased destruction of the environment. So the food system and the culture we're doing push on us not working. And therefore, the call upon each and every African citizens within the African continent and beyond that the future lies on our food. And therefore, it's about individual kind of responsibility. Look at yourself, look at your household. We have seen increased respiratory challenges. Myself and my family, we have a very severe problem of allergy. There are many problems that are associated with the chemical food that we eat. So if you love yourself and you love your family and you love this continent, you must take some action. And the action is simple. Can you have a small farm gardens in your community? Can you produce your own tomatoes? Can you produce your own cabbage? Can you create a small farm that can serve your family and can feed your family? So the actions start with one, individual, make sure that you protect the food you eat in your family, the kind of food you procure, not the one from the supermarket, but from the small African entrepreneurs and the women who are producing this food from a very healthy environment and a very sustainable way. That's one. Two, make sure that you speak to your neighbors, speak to your policymakers, speak to your government, speak to whoever is willing to listen. Let them be part of this campaign. A border man, a taxi drivers. Let everyone understand that the future of our country, the future of our continent lies on our food. Once our food system is destroyed, then we don't have identity, what is called African. So be part of the voice, be part of the actions, and make sure that your action counts in changing, protecting, preserving the food system that we call Africa. The young people look at, if you have a sustainable food system, you're the main beneficiary. We did a study on African agroecology entrepreneurship. We're talking about crisis in our own employment. Young people have no job. And the young people are the biggest consumers on this industrial food. So one is your health. So look at your health. You're a young person with a lot of energies. The more you consume this KFC food, the more you consume this industrial food, it means you're tempting you with your health. And you're going to have a whole problem when you grow old. So your medical bill is significantly going to increase. So you better eat healthy right now so that you live a healthy life when you reach a certain age. That's the first and the most important thing. Secondly, promoting the food system that we have, it creates job employment for young people. So if every African youth able to push their government to allocate significant amount of money on agriculture sector, first, it will help them to increase production and productivity. Secondly, they will gain through the value chain of our own food system with the current Industrial food system does not provide, because the industrial food system comes with a box system, a system that does not allow, it's more tech based. And therefore, young people cannot deal with an employment problem. But if they embrace the food system that we have, they understand better, then therefore they can be in position, one, supply labor, and also be in position to support the whole value chains that in one way or another create job opportunity for them, create a secure future for them. Most importantly, they're able to protect the environment, because the environment is as important as who we are. In Africa, we eat wild fruits, we eat wild vegetable, we eat wild all these things. With the current food system, our land is going to be degraded, our food will be destroyed, and most importantly, we're going to become dependent on the food system that first we don't understand. Look at COVID and look at the war in Ukraine. Any small disruption, if you have a industrial-based food system supply, during COVID time, you could not survive if we were to adopt this kind of system. So we need a short value chain in our food system that first of all protect us. And our food is just not about eating. Our food also is about the social spaces where people resonate and connect. And there's a whole social safety and social protection in our food system. So young people's voices are very important, and therefore they must only not be just the agents. They should be at the center of championing the transition to a sustainable, healthy, culturally appropriate food system, supported by either policy or supported by their action by consuming those healthy food. I talk about this at the introductory stage that for long, most African countries, I've traveled most African countries, all of them refer to agriculture as the backbone of the economy. Shockingly, what they call backbone, they've handed over in the hands of their neighbors to run. They have no budget allocation to agriculture. They don't have control over the laws being passed within the agriculture sector. Case of our own country, Uganda. So therefore, one of the conversations we started in 2020, we did research in 27 African countries and created spaces to more than 2 million people, 2 million Africans, to reflect on the policy system in their countries. One key findings and the recommendation that we have a very incoherent food system, food policies. This incoherent system or policies has translated into practice, and therefore our farmers are lost. They're like chicken without a head. So the promotions, the conversation AFSA is having, we want to advocate for development of a comprehensive African food policy framework at the continental level as well as at the country level. This involves two important processes. One is the review of the policies we have, the agricultural policies, the environmental policies, the health policies, education system. We make sure that they are coherent. They address the intellectual understanding of food in Africa. And therefore, when we can achieve this at the continent, at the country level, so we have this conversation at African Union because they have a mandate to protect and preserve the culture called African culture. So we're going to move this conversation already process going with Pan-African Parliament as well as with African Union. So this is a conversation that every African citizen's voice must count in ensuring that there are policy reforms in their country that protect their understanding of food and the food system they have, like in Acholi, where I come from. We have more than 150 food species. So are they going to be protected? If we lose them, how are we going to reclaim them back? We'll not be in position to have that. So we better protect. They say protection is better than cure. So this is the time to protect. Any more time we give to the industrial farmers and the industrial advocates, the more we stand a risk of losing our identity, the more we stand a risk of losing who we are.